So today, and welcome those of you that don't know who I am, Casey Ship here. I am the creator of Hotmomz and CaseyShip.com. I help goal-oriented women lose weight, get unstuck with the thing that's causing them to be stuck with their weight so they can just live abundantly, so they can be happy and be the women that they've always wanted to be. And we do it by a funny little approach that is a trigger word for many women. And we clear trauma, we clear success blocks at the core. And we do this by healing hormones as well. So anyway, I was not supposed to be successful. Hey there, Casey Ship here, fitness model, hormone expert, and a master energy healer. I help goal-oriented women clear out the reason why nothing has worked and finally step into their purpose and get everything they've ever wanted. Today, dude, I've got a special treat for all of you. I've got a girl by the name of Melissa. Melissa's here with us, very successful student of mine. And she's going to share with us just a little bit about how she went from rock bottom to literally manifest queen. And she's actually in the performing arts, TVs, all this stuff. She's a professional on camera, and her voice. I remember watching one of her videos, one of her short films, and I was like, oh my God, she's like one of those Disney people who can sing and act and do all this stuff. So anyway, Melissa, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you and to let people know how much you've helped me. How much you're amazing. You
Well,
are a conduit.
well, I love that you recognize that. You know, Melissa's one of the few that sees me for what I really am. A lot of women think that I'm just a weight loss coach. You know, you see it for what we do in Hotmomz, which is a lot of the deep soul, spirit, tapping into feminine, masculine, all that stuff. You see me as a conduit. So I appreciate and honor that in you.
Absolutely.
It says that it says a lot about you, but I'm excited because I think your story is phenomenal. You've
Well,
gone through
thanks.
a lot, and we're not going to talk necessarily about how much she's been through because we're not into the victim story. I think it's phenomenal to see what she's learned and what I want you to share with them, like what made it click. But I've got some questions for you we'll get into that
Okay.
will lead us down the path. Okay. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself, kids, what you do for work, married, just a little snapshot about that.
Okay. The snapshot is I grew up wanting to be the number one thing I wanted to be was a wife and a mom. And of course I love performing. So I was like, how am I supposed to do both? That was a really big crux in my life. How can I be a performer and a mom? And I couldn't figure it out. And it's taken me a really long time and I'm still learning. But I ended up getting married very young. I was in college for musical theater and he and I got married during college. And then we, a little bit down the line, had three girls. And just they're my whole heart, my girls. But at the same time, we went on, and I think honestly, just trying to live as perfect as we could didn't really help in the end, like trying to force things to be perfect. And so we ended up having a divorce, and that was really hard. So I spent about 10 years as a single mom. And I then started dating again towards the end of that and got remarried again and tried super hard again to be perfect and have that blended family that was going to be perfect. And 5 years, it was really, there were a lot of great memories made, but ultimately last year, January 2022, was my rock bottom with all of the above. My first ex, the father of my children, passed away July 2021. And then that just set us all in this grief pattern that I guess, and ultimately it's bringing us all to some different level of healing. But yeah, it was a really bad rock bottom for me personally at that time. And I just was seeking and I found you. And I think that you are definitely a huge part of my healing.
How soon after his passing did you find us?
Well, he passed in July, and there was just massive trauma in our home, with the grief and the emotions. Yeah, we're still healing. We're still healing, but
Oh yeah.
it affected everybody. It affected my current husband. It affected my children, and it affected me. And we just couldn't. We just couldn't. It was a perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm, and that's all I can say. So that was when it happened. I mean, when the perfect storm really crashed was like between July, I mean, not July, January 2022. And that's when I was led to you. That's when I
Okay.
found you.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And I started like listening to your stuff. I had a friend who told me, she's like, Melissa, you still have a lot of trauma to work through. I was like, girl, I go to therapy like every week. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I was like, I'm a therapy pro, right? But when I spoke with your representative, she was like, you're not going to really need therapy anymore after this. Like, what? And I have not, I have to say, Like there was a financial issue where I couldn't do therapy for a little while, and I just made the choice, even though I could manifest enough to start doing it. But when I started working with you, I made the choice. No, I don't. I want to try it without therapy for a while, and everything that you've taught me has helped me to heal myself. And it's like a massive change for me to be able to like wake up and know how to process that. Like, okay, now I know I can go like you do, pull off and go ride for a while and cry, and then come back home and be like, okay, I let that out, and so I've learned so much about myself through it. So yeah, I found you January, and then I started doing like your one of the other programs that you had, kind of the beginner. And then I was like, no, no, she got me there. And I just was like, I'm making the investment in myself. And I really believed in what you said about if you help yourself, you're going to help your kids. And I didn't really understand that at the time, but I did it. And it really has. They say, Mom, you've just done so much work. Like, wow. It just means the world to me.
Oh, good. I love it. Love it. And you're going to keep just doing more. You're very, very
Oh, I'm so
powerful. A lot of my girls, I mean, it's who we attract, we attract our tribe, but I just love our whole mastermind community. And I think you're talking about, we have two things that's like low ticket for women who like don't want to do it. They're just kind of scared or, get caught in their money shit. I think one is like $7 and one's like 97 to like 1,000. Do you remember which one it was?
No, I started it was like $10 a month or something.
$10.
I just
Yeah.
started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was Elevate. It was Elevate.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Elevate.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Well,
So
you know what? When I created that, I remember being so frustrated because I was so tired of getting women that wanted help, but they were like, I just can't afford it. And they were in their shit. And I'm like, okay,
I was
God,
in it.
universe. I'm like, you're sending me these people to help. How am I supposed to help them? And then the Elevate came through. So that's awesome. Okay. So all that happened. And then what was the main problem? I know you were going through a shitstorm, but let's be real. You were a therapy pro. You didn't come to me for, hey, fix my life. You came to me for weight, right?
I did. I did. There were some things that were said around that time to me that were really painful, and it was just all a part of it. And I've always been concerned about trying to present myself the best way, because I hear you talking about it. You're like, when you're being a successful person, you are taking care of yourself. You're doing your best, right? And I've never not tried. I've never not tried. I've taken it to an obsession in different ways, and very low calorie dieting was the only way that I could do it. And I was sick of it. I was done. And I was like, this is not working anymore. I like prayed and sought everything I could possibly do for an actual thing that would work. And I had thyroid surgery like in 2020. So I like lost half my thyroid. So, maybe it was just the programming of, the fear. Oh my gosh, you are going to gain weight because you've lost half your thyroid. Like, and to try to challenge those limiting beliefs, that's what you've taught me. Like I never really challenged those things before. And so but mainly I would say like drop the MF weight loss struggle. Your That class was probably the best thing for me, because it really got to the core of all the why was I holding on to weight in a certain way. Like that's how I found you. I was like, is there anybody out there who does trauma weight loss? Like, because I found it in my head. I was like, she's saying I need to work on trauma. I'm holding weight in this certain area. Maybe I'm like subconsciously wanting to hold on to being the best mom I can be, so I'm holding on to my belly or something. And then I was like, there's got to be something like that out there. I searched it, and then somehow you popped up. And
I
yeah,
love it.
well, yeah,
You said
that's
drop
it.
that. So it was drop the motherfucking weight struggle. You love that course.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it. I've done it twice, and I'll do it again probably, because I think it's something you can keep learning from.
I think all of our courses, I know the courses that I'm in of other coaches. I mean, some of this material is like classic, and every time you listen, because you're different, you're going to hear a different message every time. So it's so cool.
Yep.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, you're one of the few that really loves it. Everybody else is like, oh, resilient as fuck, or there's resilient as fuck, and there's another one that people talk
I
about.
love that one too. I've
Me
I've
too.
done so many.
But like the drop the motherfucking weight struggle is so good. It's so good.
It is.
Um,
It is so.
and it's funny, I want to give props because Amanda Francis has one about money, and she has one called Drop the Motherfucking Money Struggle, and it's amazing. And I was like, if women are struggling with this, dude, I mean, weight struggle, like let's just clear that out. And I was like, ding, and then there it is. So yeah.
I
Okay.
love.
So why did you choose our program specifically over any others? Because there's a lot out there.
Well, I mean, I honestly felt like I was led to you, and then there was something that happened where I was listening. When I did the $10 a month thing, I was just listening. I mean, I was not in a position where I should have been, you know, spending this kind of money on myself. I mean, I was facing a divorce. I ended up getting divorced, my second divorce during all this. And your programs were a huge comfort through that for sure. But it was when I was you talk about just turn me on and listen to me every day a little bit and get in my vibe, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
well, I can relate to your vibe. I'm from the South. And so being out here in Utah and just hearing you talk, I'm just like, yeah, yeah. It reminds me of home, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was like, you said something. It was just one of those little signs that I believe in those things, and there was just a phrase that you used when I was pondering it. And I was like, you said something like, something about being a lighthouse, something about how you're a lighthouse, or something like that. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm trying to be. That's what I want to be. And that's what you're being for me. So how can I learn from you to be more like that? And immediately I was like, that's it. I just went ahead and called her back and your representative. And I was like, I'm ready to pay. I'll do it. And I invested in myself. So I'm really thankful that I did.
Well, maybe in everybody's thought, where's this Elevate $10 thing? We actually morphed it. So we X'd it out and we put it, it's still in Hotmomz, but we took out the most listened to videos and we just put them in the pre-launch course, and they can find that on the shop page. But because I know all the women, you know how they are, like, what's she using? Well, where is it? And so it's on the shop page and it's in pre-launch. Okay. So you chose it because you felt like it was a sign because you believe in that stuff. And I think
Yeah.
I've always seen you as just a very powerful manifestor. I mean, we're all powerful manifestors. You're either manifesting shit in your life or what you want. So so you saw it as a sign, and
Yeah.
you needed
And also
comfort.
I felt like you had what another thing that really helped me was, so there was a time in my life even previous to all of this where it was not really like full out rock bottom, but I was definitely depressed, and I was like looking at myself like, okay, I did some of the work without realizing what that was at the time, but like I got to the core of what is my why am I depressed? Like what are my issues? And I was like, anytime I'm out of balance spiritually, out of balance physically, out of balance financially, out of balance with my family, and out of balance with my dreams, like life purpose. And you had courses for every one of them, and I was like, okay, this is not just going to help me with my weight, right? This is something I've been working on forever. It's going to help me with my life, like with all the things. And I was so excited just looking through the course descriptions, and I was like, yeah, this is a great investment because I'm not going to just have help with one area. Like you're in with all the same things that I think about every single day.
Love it. Now, something that keeps coming to my mind. So when you said you did those restrictive diets in the past, because like we all have,
Mhm.
how much weight would you lose? And then would you gain it all back? Would you gain more weight? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, well, I not to name the actual program, but like 1 year before I joined you, I had just had my thyroid surgery. I was desperate. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm desperate. Like I have to lose this weight. I don't care if it says I'm gonna lose it fast and I shouldn't do it that way. Well, I don't care. So
Yeah.
I went and spent for the first time, like I thought it was a lot, and I spent this large amount to go to this one program, and
What was it? What'd you spend?
1,000. It was only a
Okay.
thousand.
How
Yeah.
long was it for? Was it
For me,
like
it
3
was a
months?
lot at the time. Sorry.
Was it like 3 months, or what'd you get for the $1,000?
It was like 3 months, and I got to go in and meet with this person. Like, I think it was like once every 2 or 3 weeks. And then they would look at I would write down what I ate and everything. But the problem is they wanted me to basically only eat like 500. I think it was like, it wasn't about calories, but you got 2 meals a day and they were so small. And they're like, they guaranteed you to lose 20 pounds. And I did lose 20 pounds, but then immediately, as soon as I started finding balance again, like I gained it all back and more. And I'd done that because I had done HCG in the past, and I thought this was the only way. So when I hear you talking about, no, you can eat more calories, you can heal yourself, you can heal your metabolism. And I mean, I'm on the path, right? I'm still learning. And you say, I tell myself all the time, it's done, it's done, it's done. And your coaches, the people who you have worked with you, also help me believe that it's going to come. So I just keep working on it. But I feel so much more comfortable now and so much
Yeah.
more healthy than that little tiny stuff,
Yeah.
that I was eating.
And you've lost 10 pounds and it stayed off.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it just keeps on going. And now you weren't even able to work out, I don't think, when you first joined, right? When your energy, like your adrenals, your thyroid, it was all, did you work out in the beginning or no?
I did, but most of it was my thyroid stuff. Like we're still trying to get my I think a lot of my block 2 did have to do with some hormone things, which through your program I've been discovering certain levels that were off that I didn't know. I never knew that, for example, iron levels, which I've always known I've had some iron like things going on in my life, but I never paid much attention to it. But through the people that you helped connect me with, I realized that the iron was a part of some of the stuff with my thyroid. And I love my family. I really do. And we've healed a lot. But at the same time, like family issues and mommy issues, which I really did have at, especially at a certain time in my life, that affected my thyroid. I never knew that. I didn't understand these energy things. And I wanted to understand more. And you have really helped me go there with all the things you teach and the way you example it and the way you live it. And also the people you help us connect to.
Nice. Oh, I love that. So the energy of mommy, women are like, what's she talking about? Mommy and thyroid. Will you tell them a little bit about what you're talking about?
Okay, so I remember hearing different courses that you've offered, and you're saying, okay, it's like have it where you have certain issues in your body are reflecting certain issues in your life, right? Like the energy. And I never really understood that until I heard you talk about it. And you said, oh yeah, I heard you say on some video, you were like, yeah, thyroid problems means mommy issues. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you know.
But see, you're
And
so open. And I hate to interrupt you, but you're open because so many women right now are going, oh, my mom's great. They're full
I
of
love my
shame.
mom.
Right,
I love
right. So we're not saying your mom is bad or anything. Your mom could be the best mom ever, but there's deeply embedded things of shame and guilt and programming. I mean, just think about it. We grew up with parents that literally looked at us and told us, you need to learn long division because you won't have a calculator in your pocket. That's old. But yet we're still running with the same programming about what to wear, weight, what should we should do in life, you feel me? So that's all we're talking about. It's the mommy guilt that we feel. It's feeling like we're responsible for everybody. It's that we're not saying that your mommy's a piece of shit and you're fucked up, and that because so many women, they automatically get triggered if we say that. No, oh no, this is not for me because my mom's great. No, no, no. Okay, so carry
Well,
on.
I want to bring up that point right there too, is that in general, I love that you're real. I just love that you're so honest. I love that you just come from your core and you don't care. Like you're just like, yeah. And you're gonna, if you're my tribe, you're gonna be attracted to what I have to say, period. And like I love that confidence in you. And that's really rubbed off on me. Because I mean, I grew up in a home where like we like literally were taught to cover our ears and scream anytime a curse word came on television, you know. And I'm just I'm just like, okay, I get the point, but that doesn't mean that you can't still feel like passion or feel direction or feel the even God, like, or the spirit or anything through the passion that you use. The words are just part of your vehicle. It's just part of who you are.
Right. And then they shame. That's where they shame for everything. And there's so much shame and guilt. It's literally a war. I say it washing because old women used to say washing instead of washing. But it's like we wash your soul, we wash your spirit, we wash your brain and everything that's got you, in the reality that you're in. So I love that you've recognized the mommy stuff and with the thyroid, the iron. That's some good tips for our listeners. Okay. Was there anything in particular about our program that really helped you? Why do you think it was so effective? Like which one?
Probably the emotional intelligence was probably the most helpful because you brought that into every aspect of your healing. Like you taught how to use that in every single one of those areas, which I love.
Yeah,
So
God, I
yeah.
listened to a book today. I saw it in the community and I was like, oh my God, her energy is so good about worthiness. And I've got to listen to this book. If there's anything that's going to help my people, like I want to know about it. It's called, The Year of Less. And I listened to it and I can't stand it. And listen, did not say anything about the Arthur, whatever you want to say. Like this is
Mhm.
not personal. It's going to help a lot of people because it shows she's modeling discipline. But man, you know how I talk about like Dave Ramsey, right? Like
Mhm.
it's the discipline, but it's coming from still scarcity, still there's not enough and restriction and all that. So I kept listening, like, where's the wisdom? Where's the wisdom? Because this whole book is like, it was about her needing to punish herself when the whole time, if she would have just done the emotional clearing at the core root, it would have been
Mm-hmm.
a different world. But now that book's going to help a ton of people, you know, but I was just listening and I was just, oh, so the stuff that you're saying about emotional intelligence, man, I mean, it's the, I don't want to say save your life, but I mean, it's the difference of like surviving versus
Mm-hmm.
fully living
Yeah,
in
the
full color.
abundant mindset is something that I never really understood until you've introduced so many different things to me. Like I love what you just said. You said if there's something good out there, I want my girls to know about it. Like you're constantly sharing things with us and I love to learn from you. I love to learn from the community. I love to see what others share with each other. That is a great sisterhood too as well. But as we're talking, like one of the things that really hit me, I remember seeing you do interviews with, I think it's a share quote on the back of your wall that was like, I am a
I am
rich
the
man.
rich man. Yeah.
And that was probably honestly, it probably helped me in every area because I sat back and at that time I was really wanting to save my marriage so deeply. Like, and I was like, well, maybe if I change my mind instead of thinking that he has to do this or he has to do that for me or what we need to do this so that whatever. I was like, no, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna make myself my best. And then I started doing some of your work, some of your courses about the masculine and feminine and things like that. And I was like, you know what, I had a limiting belief that the man had to provide, that the man had to,
I
yes,
remember that. I remember you going through that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was really raised believing that, and I think I felt like I was shorted or I was like, like, why is this not happening for me? Like, why is it so hard for me? Because kind of expected that that would happen for me or like wanted it to happen for me or like wanted to be taken care of and like, you know what? No, like, no, if Casey can do it, I can do it. Like, like
Right.
I can stand up and learn how to manifest more money and learn how to level up is what I want to do in every area and you're doing that and you teach us how that you did it and it's helping me.
So, as a result of implementing the emotional intelligence, everything about it, the physicians, the workouts, the community, the sisterhood, what has been the outcome? Because I know what I see, but you tell me what you see as the outcome.
Feel like I just have the next steps like I trust the next steps, they're coming
Self
for
trust.
every single thing. Self trust, yeah. Like, and I was really probably motivated more by fear than anything before. And I think, and I, even though I thought I had so much, I really do believe I've always tried to stay close to like spiritual things that have helped me, right? But at the same time, did I really trust it? Did I really let go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so through this, I've learned to trust myself that I had, like, I hear you say it. And I really do believe it now. Like, I actually do have the answers within me, right? Like, I didn't really necessarily, I mean, I get it, but I didn't trust it. And now I like stop and listen when I write, and I put it into practice. And then, it's like every single thing that the manifesting stuff that you teach or that you share with us is so powerful. Like, I actually have seen it. Like, I've been able to manifest. I didn't think I could manifest more money. And like, I mean, not that it's, I mean, I'm still on the path. I'm still learning, but like taking those steps that you put into your steps, like what the process that you teach us, and I've applied it in all the different areas of my life. But I've been able to manifest things. I mean, in each of
Your
those
work
areas. So,
too. Your work too, like in your performing arts,
mhm.
career. Is that your career? Because hold on, back up. You have some famous person in your family. Who your
Oh,
who? Can we say that here or no?
it's true. My ex husband's sister is Brooke Burke,
That's right.
so she's still like a sister to me. Yes.
But you're
Um,
in it. You're in it. That's what I'm saying. Melissa is in that. What do you call it? Performing arts, or what do you call it?
Yes, I teach singing and acting and film, and I teach privately. I teach in school, and then I'm also I and through your program, I've gained the self confidence and decided because I wanted to be able to make more. Like I made specific financial goals, and so now I've been accepted into a master's and PhD program to become an expressive arts therapist, and so I'm learning to become. I don't want to be necessarily a therapist, but I want to do things like you're doing. Like I want to help other people and be a conduit, especially through the arts. Like I want to
Yeah.
use music and the arts to heal people.
Because
That's what
there's so much, like comedians, the reason they're funny is because the reason I'm funny is, and yes, you can be passed down, but seriously, it's a coping mechanism.
Mhm.
So a lot of in that industry, a lot of drugs, depression, because you think about it, like Marilyn Monroe, I heard about this analogy, I think through like Mel Lear or something was, think about it, here she is Marilyn Monroe in this one, it's everything. But
Yeah.
Norma Jean, it's like, how do you live with the human with this thing here? And that really gets to you. And to teach someone how to, it's what we do, how to teach someone how to connect the human of us, part of us, to that channel, that divine channel that we love and we crave and we want to be there all the time, but we're not, we're human. So like,
Right.
I think that is holy shit. Like that is so hard. My heart center, just like that's so good for you. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm just learning right now that I have been able to like raise some of my income level, and like I'm making big choices and big shifts that I can't really talk about fully yet. But your connection to like Louise, man, she's helped me so much. Like, I mean, you help us have resources that are getting me to my next level. Period.
And that's
So
what it is.
man,
That's it.
I'm so excited about it.
That's somebody was they see it as just, well, small minds see it as just like this one thing. And I go, when you pay someone like me, or when I pay someone like the mentors I work with, coaches, yeah, I'm paying for their stuff because they're good at what they do and they've perfected their craft, but it's their network.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, for sure.
It's their network, because if a good coach is gonna, well, I shouldn't say good coach, bad coach. To me, what I look for is somebody that shares. Share with me who you go to for that. What do you use for that? Don't just keep it a damn secret. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
no, I love it. I love hearing all the things that you learn, because you always, when you share them with us, it helps me a lot, really, for sure.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
And that's it. Okay. So, okay. A couple more questions. Where do you think you'd be right now if you didn't take action to join
Ooh.
when you dared?
That's probably still going, trying to make therapy be the only solution, without being able to think for myself. Maybe still cycling through the very low calorie dieting and starving myself. And that's that whole, I loved how, I mean, I couldn't really necessarily define that I had an eating disorder, but when you say disordered eating, I'm like, oh, yes, yes, actually, yes. And so, I think I'd still be cycling through those same things, and the fear
Oh,
and
I gotta stop you there because you said something
yeah.
with fear. You said earlier you were turns out I was led by fear. You said I was led by fear. Can you give the listeners an example of that? Because remember, they don't know what you know. The emotional intelligence hasn't come fully in yet, because there's something magical about saying yes to this kind of thing, because there just is. So educate us a little bit. How do you know you're operating out of fear?
It's the scarcity. It's the like wanting to like hold back, like, no, 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 I can't do it. That's kind of what I interpret it to be. And I think that's how I was kind of behaving in maybe the codependency stuff that I was going through, like just that wanting to hold on so hard that I didn't want to trust what could be brought to me, what could
Yeah.
come to me, right? Like the letting go. You talk about relaxing, you talk about like making time to relax. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't
Me
know how to do
neither.
that. And I'm still learning, because I'm a huge overachiever, that kind of thing. But at the same time, like to start to notice those things, and to slow down and feel that, and to like just listening to your tips, like I would be in a different place. I'd be still doing the same things over and over, trying to get different results.
And you've seen Disney Soul, that movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a bit, but I've seen it.
Okay, well, it's just like that. And you mentioned earlier that this has helped you become a better mom. People don't
Yeah.
realize that when you're in that space of go, 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 do, 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 and you're led by fear, not enough, you're doing everything in your life intentionally because you're trying to avoid pain, and you only get more of that. It's almost like, I can't afford this, so I need to save. Okay, well, that's restriction. Instead of saying, what would my future self say right now? If I already, the one that already had the thing, what would she do? She'd figure it out and she'd get resourceful. You just start thinking different. Once you start, like you said, challenging those beliefs, things open up.
And it's been scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like there are moments where I was like, just let go, and then I'd have to practice letting go. And like after a year of working with you, I feel a lot more confident, like I'm trusting it more, and it's a whole lot less scary to start to really do it. But yeah, and I realized that with my kids. I mean, it was just a unique time. I mean, not everybody goes through the same, like with their father passing, and the way that it affected them, and the way it affected our home and my other marriage. Like it was just unique. It was a unique set of circumstances. But at the same time, like through this whole healing, it's helped me to realize that I'm not going to like just squeeze my kids and be like, I want you to do this so that you can be safe. I want you to do this, and I'm finally learning, like, no, just let go. Just trust that they're going to figure it out, and you're there for them. And they feel they've always felt I know they've always felt that I love them, but
But
I
see,
think that,
you figured it out. That's the thing, is a mom that
yeah.
sits there, holds on tightly, she's never found her. So she needs to force it on them. Then she becomes a toxic mother. Once you find it, you're empowered. And therefore you empower others. You're not the toxic enabler that comes with the codependency. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's been a hard struggle for me. But I'm not perfect, but I'm telling you, you've helped me.
Well, hey, no, none of us are. Trust me. You know what I mean? So I did want to say, when you're running around like that, you're second guessing things, you're in restrictive mode, you're not happy with your weight, you're starving yourself. You're not there for your kids. You're like that movie Soul, where they go back and they find these, how do I word this? In the movie, they have these little like weird shamans, and it shows them in this other realm. And when they go there, they find humans that have like this sand all over them. They actually look kind of scary. This like this sand with
Oh
like
yeah.
dark eyes.
Uh-huh.
And so, and they show him like this one guy that showed him, he's like working his ass off, like New York Exchange or something like that. And what I'm saying is, when you're running around stressed out and all that, it's just like that guy that's doing the stock exchange in the movie, and he's all black and he looks scary. You're not
Yeah.
there. You're absent. You are not there. You're not even in your body, right? So your
Yeah.
kids, you're
Yeah.
not there for your kids. You are an
No.
emotional neglecting your kids. Anyway, so the shamans come in, they have this breakthrough, and the guy wakes up and he's like, screw this, I'm going to be happy. People think you got to like say no to money and stuff like that to not be happy. You're finding the middle ground. But I'm trying to drive the point home here about kids. How has this helped you with parenting and being a mom, connection with your daughters? I mean, you got 3 girls, powerful women in your family.
Yeah. Very powerful.
So
Very
how has this
powerful.
helped you? Did you used to be short and like you said, controlling, and versus how you are now? Give some tips on that, because we've got time.
That's hard. There were truths that I was taught, when I'd say truths, like principles or values that I was taught growing up. And then also like specifically religious. And I was always told that those things would, get you to where you need to be, right? And to help you stay safe and all that. So I think I was just really squeezing that and really trying to make them do that so that they'd be happy, like, because I wanted them to be happy. I thought that was the way to do it, right? But the honest thing is we all have our free agency, and like, and so the more I've like let go of making that and just try to be myself and like live it the best that I can without like having to say, well, you need to do this or you need to do that. I mean, it's been hard. It's really been hard as a parent with teens, who are especially teens who are grieving. Like, you don't know what to say, like you don't know what to do or what not to do. And then just watching them grow by letting them go. And so it's really what it
That's
is.
great.
It's
That's
so
beautiful.
painful, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And I'm letting them find themselves and I'm finding myself. And so when we come back together, there's just this lighter feeling. There's a different respect. There's a different joy that we find, and we realize that we love each other, and maybe that would help me not to have those relationships in the future where you've had to draw such strong boundaries with certain family members. And I don't want that for my kids. Like, my number one goal in my life was to be close to them.
Yeah.
So
And the
yeah.
only way to do that is get close to your inner self,
And
I
I'm
mean,
finding that.
then yeah, you mentioned the religion and you said, do this to be happy, and you were everything but happy. It's like this lady the other day, she goes, she needs our help so bad. It's like we would be the interventionist with this one. Now, most women that sign up with us, it's not like they're going through some massive shit. A lot of women that sign up with us, they're here because they just want to be even better. It's not like you have to have your life in shit show to work with us at all. Anyway, this
Yeah,
lady,
yeah. No, definitely. No, you can
she
always level up where you're at, wherever you're at.
yeah, she needs an intervention. I mean, martyr syndrome, her no thyroid, like it's bad. And
Mm,
she's reached out twice and even done a call this, and some things happen. I just know it's toxic as fuck. That's why she's miserable. I mean, if you heard her story, it's like nothing's going well. It's bad.
mm,
This lady comes back and goes, I'm gonna pray about it. And I'm like, all right. So hopefully it's not the same God you've been praying to, because it ain't working out. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? But
I get it.
you gotta look logic. You've got to look at it. Like, if you've been doing your spiritual work with the religion that you're in and things aren't working out, I'm not saying diss it. I'm saying
Hmm.
there's something else that's maybe needs to be integrated.
That's the point, the integration, and that's where you've really helped me. Like, for example, just a side note, like when you introduced me to your shaman, right? I'm like, I've never done anything like that before, and then I'm like, I want to try it, right? And she was like miraculous. She was miraculous. And even her reading with you was miraculous. So, you know,
We had some
yeah,
little breakthroughs, didn't we?
and completely different than I've ever been exposed to, but it doesn't mean it doesn't jive with what I've been exposed to. It's just that there needed to be there needed to be things integrated to help me heal further.
Because I said this in a recent training about the hormonal training. I think it's still up in our free group. The Bible and religion is based from, it's a spirituality. It is spirit.
Mhm.
Yet a human's reading it. There's going to be so much fuck ups from that because we're trying to be 5D and perfect and spiritual. Spiritual's great, but we're human. So who teaches us how to mix the two? You know what I mean?
Mm.
You got to have that. And
That's
that's,
where you got to do yourself, right? Like, and you really
but
got to
nobody
get your own.
teaches it. Nobody teaches it when they say like don't
Well,
lust in the Bible, but you go through puberty and you are created to lust because it's for procreate, it's for a reason. And but yet
right.
we've done that. So if they didn't catch the training or you didn't watch that, go check it out. Especially if you got teen daughters, it was mind blowing. I went through, it's all science based, and I think it's in the free group. It's called like
I don't think I saw that one. I got to watch that because I need to know more about that to
I
help,
think
you know?
it's called, we did processing on 13-year-old self. Like we went back and cleared out lots of things when we started our periods. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
It
want to
was
go watch that now. I
it's
missed
super
it.
powerful.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
last question.
Okay.
Is if there's anyone watching, because I'm sure, or listening, that there are, they're on the fence about booking a call, about applying, filling out an application, purchasing something, whatever, about working with us. They're on the fence. They're scared. They're, you know what it's like. What would you say to them?
Trust yourself.
Well, that's the
Give it a chance.
problem though. They think they've been trusting themselves and it's gotten them in that. So what else?
It's the investment in yourself. To me, that's the biggest thing that stuck with me is the investment in yourself.
I've got it, Melissa. See, I knew
Yeah.
this was going to come through you. All right. You said trust yourself. Okay. If trauma's there it's going to live fear. Trust yourself. So what does that mean if they need to trust themselves, which
Hmm.
would be like saying yes, they're putting aside the fear and uncertainty and they're actually going and stepping in faith and belief and trust. Okay. Because they have been, I'm guessing, in fear, scarcity, and lack. What have they been trusting? It hasn't been themselves. What have they been trusting?
Probably the fear, right? Like holding on to the fear and trusting only what they see, maybe not seeing what can happen, you know?
Dead on.
Okay.
So you're saying, so trust yourself, ladies, means, because people like working with me, I think, because of the how, that speech that I did in Arizona. They said I was one of the few coaches that gave how. Everybody tells you to do and do, but how? Like how do you relax? Well, we teach you. So you're saying trust yourself, but how? Well,
Right.
realizing that you've been listening to and trusting fear and not enough, and to be safe, and don't spend this because you don't need
Yeah.
that, or don't do that because you may look stupid or whatever. I should have it figured out, or I may fail. A lot of women are like, I may fail. I'm like, you're already fucking failing. You don't have what you want. But they don't see it that way. But anyway, so you're saying trust yourself because you've been listening to fear, and trusting yourself looks like, what are the possibilities? And what other word did you say? You said some word.
It was the investment in yourself. I don't know.
No, I
Like,
don't know. You said something that was, but it's just the possibilities. Looking maybe at like what could happen.
right. Yeah. Like, why not give it why not at least try? Like, if you're not finding the solution, obviously you've got to try something different, right? Like, you can't just keep expecting that what you've already done is the answer. So
Yeah.
think, oh, you say all the time, I'm willing to see things differently. I'm
Yeah.
willing to see things differently. And I say that to myself all the time now. Whenever I start to say, no, 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 you can't think like that. No, 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 that's not how it is. I'm like, no, I'm willing to see things differently. And then allowing is what you're talking about when you relax or when things come to you. It comes. Like it
Well, it's
really
because
comes.
if you ask any woman in here, and I'm sure you know because you're very creative, and the seeing things differently, I think came from like Gabby Bernstein or something. But I read it in a book recently that I'm listening to now, or on a card. I'm like, well, there it is again. Um, allowing, allowing is like if you knew that this was going to work out, like going back. Melissa, just think if you could go back, moment in time, your future self, you're talking to me now, you know the results you've had, could inform like a peep peep on the shoulder, Jiminy Cricket could inform that version of you when you were wanting to elevate. Do you think you
Yeah.
would have been like fucking swipe the card?
Yes. I think if I could have listened to my future self a little earlier, I probably would have already made the choice earlier. It took me a little while because I was still holding on and not
Mm.
allowing the answer in. And that's sort of how I was the one of the same kind of people that needed to stop and really think it out and things like that. But what I'm learning from you also is that because I know that the answer is going to come, then when something comes, I just trust it more. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that is it. Oh yeah, that is it. Or oh yeah, coming from myself, that's it. Whereas before I'd have to stop the world and really think about it and make sure it's really going to line up. No, just allow it to come to you.
Not to
That's definitely,
mention,
yeah.
yeah, and not to mention, a lot of women will judge themselves. And it's like, well, here's the reason you judge yourself, because most of us have been betrayed. I mean, most of us, if you have a parent, you've been betrayed. They were supposed to do something, they didn't. How
I
dare you?
love that about you say really fast. I love that you've taught me that there's trauma in every situation, every relationship. It doesn't, you can't just think that your trauma is different. And like, I didn't really understand that, but now I understand it and it helps me relate to myself. It helps me relate to others. It helps me understand people better.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And so when it comes to trusting, how do I know I'm going to get the answer? Oh, everything has to be hard for me. She's had to go process some betrayal. She's had to go process where that distrust came from. So once you clear out the reason of why you couldn't trust, you start trusting. Like making decisions out of the place that you're in before you get healing is like, that's a horrible thing to do.
Mhm.
Why would you want to make a decision that's highly charged or not charged enough? You know what I mean? You're going to get
Yeah.
more shit.
Hmm.
Oh my God. So I don't know. That's why lately we've been using, we'll help them like to clear some of that stuff before they
At
even.
the beginning, before they start making their choices. That's so great. Yeah, I really am finding that the more I put myself into an elevated state, but I mean, I honestly use music. Like music is my key. And so when I find myself, I just find the right songs and the right things that help me be in a certain mind state that will then help me make the right choice. Cause you can't just, like you said, operate from, you got to do some kind of cleansing. So
Yeah.
yeah. And you've helped me do so much of that. So thank you.
Well, I love the tip, even the tip you just gave on music. Like what you gave so many nuggets today. That's
Thank
so.
you. I'm excited. I'm so happy because I want people to learn from you because you've really helped me, and I really wish that more people can learn from you too. Because if it can help them the way it's help, if you can help them the way that you've helped me, then you know that they can be in a better place as well. And
And then
why would that?
exactly. And the thing, I see it as a big circle. It's like, but you're going to help me. Me helping you helps me. Okay. Here's the way I see it. You're now going to help performing, up and coming performance people. Like it's going to be crazy good. What if my kid wants to do that and he would have to go work with you unhealed? I'm sorry. That's why he's not in, like, no, the fact
Mhm.
that you are like you're into this, it serves such a higher purpose, because now like my kid could get help because now they can go to somebody like you because you're so fully integrated. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's all about the give and take, right? Like it's about communion. It's about when you put out then you know what you put out, you get the blessings in return. And it's a cycle. It's just a cycle of energy. And I'm learning so much about that. And I'm happy to be a part of any of that. So
Well, love it,
you're a
love it.
conduit. I want to be a conduit. I say the same.
You
So
are.
yeah.
You already are. So you're just learning how
Like,
to you're learning how to conduit. That's pretty much it. It's like not that you want to be, you just learning how to be how to conduit. There you go.
okay. Yeah, I
Awesome. All right.
love
Well,
it.
thank you so much. I know you're busy and got another appointment. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. And tell people like if they want to follow you,
Mhm.
how to spell your last name. How do
Okay,
you
it's
spell it?
currently the best place to find me is under Melissa Burke Termini, which is MelissaBurke Termini, Termini.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, girlfriend. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All
Talk
right.
to you
You're welcome.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is it. I've got a free training, caseysship.com/register. Be sure to grab that and then join my free Facebook group and just reach out. Struggle is not required. So hit me up, caseysship.com/register. Talk to you soon.